I've kind of been in and out on Illini news, and that means I had to bring my favorite Illini content creator back to the YouTube channel, Sonny Verma from Locked On Illini. How you doing, my man?
Doing good, Cody. Yeah, we've been missing you on the Illini space, but you have a good reason. You know, the Chicago Cubs are a lot of fun to watch right now.
I'm having so much fun watching baseball for once. But I have been following Illini news, and we're going to get into a bunch of it today to kind of recap what's happened over the last, I would say, month, maybe just a couple weeks. Everything just kind of goes in and out my ears sometimes with all this news that comes out. But I wanted to start with the most recent news, which is a lot of the news that's come out related to Illinois' non-conference schedule or non-conference opponents. The schedule isn't out yet, but the opponents have come out. And John Rothstein of CBS had a good tweet today that kind of summed it all up. And I look at it, Sonny, and I'm like, there is no way that you can sit here come November and tell me that Illinois has a weak schedule. They're going to play 25 out of 31 games against Power 5 or Power 4, whatever you want to call it, opponents. And I'm going to read the teams here in a second. I got to find the tweet. He sent it this morning. This is bad audio. That's okay. Okay, found it. They're gonna announced today or yesterday Texas Tech, but the other ones include Alabama here at the United Center in Chicago, which they played Alabama last season. So I'm kind of digging this SEC going, like, you know, now it, like Alabama's kind of like the Tennessee of the last couple of years, right?
Well,
and now we're gonna go back and play Tennessee again this year too.
Right.
In Nashville. They added UConn, so you know, for potential at Madison Square Garden, there's so many demons to be exercised there. And then obviously Mizzou, which has been a yearly thing for a long time now. So yeah, again, 25 of Illinois' 31 regular season games will be against power conference opponents. Sonny, what are your thoughts about these non-conference opponents going and Illinois' roster that's together? How do we feel about this? Like, what should my expectations be going into November?
You know, I like it. I like that in basketball. The losses don't necessarily matter, right? It's all about getting those quad one opportunities and trying to get W's there. It's going to be nerve-wracking a little bit, you know, just because this is not easy. Texas Tech just went to Elite 8 last year. The only thing, sorry, I wish he could change a little bit is enough with the neutral court stuff. Let's just do the proper college home and home. Let's have it in Champaign. Let's do it in Tuscaloosa. That type of, just because those games are, in my opinion, the most fun to watch. But, you know, again, grand scheme of things, Brad's got a brand new team again, and it's going to be more of a veteran team than last year. And I do like the fact that, you know, they're going to face a lot of what you're not going to face in the Big Ten schedule, right? You're going to play with the Texas Techs, you're with the UConns, you're going to play tall, athletic guards, which you don't necessarily play up against in the Big Ten. So you're not going to be surprised by it when you play them in March. So I get why he's doing it, but that doesn't mean I'm not nervous.
Yeah. I mean, Texas Tech is the one that will come to Champaign. It was nice that Tennessee came to Champaign last season. It was a painful loss. We all, like, I don't want to bring up bad memories, but it was a game that I think we all felt like they should have beat Tennessee in. Illinois now 0-2 against Tennessee since this whole thing started, and it's incredibly frustrating. I went to the one in Knoxville 2 years ago, and that was with a really good Illini team that went to the Elite 8. Last year's team, obviously, super young. We didn't think they had reached the ceiling or reached what they could be. They never did. Brad Underwood openly admitted that on, I think it was Field of 68 recently. And I think we would all agree with that at this point. But I'm looking forward to get another shot at them at Tennessee. I hate to say it. They kind of own us. But, yeah, the UConn game is probably the one that sticks out to me the most in terms of what scares me of these four teams, because Dan Hurley is a psychopath, and they're one of the best programs in the country. They have been for the last couple of years. Obviously, they won the national title 2 out of the last 3 years. And Madison Square Garden, you lost by 43 to Duke last season. So you got the place where there's some really bad memories. some of the worst memories of my Illini fandom, I guess you could add on. And then the fact that you had like that 30-0 run against UConn 2 years ago in the Elite Eight game that we all just kind of try to forget about and remember that team for what it was. Like there's so many demons to be exercised in that game. And when that game comes around, I'm not going to feel good no matter what. It's going to be a painful watch.
I mean, you called Dan Hurley a psychopath. I think Brad Underwood's a psychopath for this one. You know, like you said, 30-0 run, UConn. When you think of Madison Square Garden, you think about being waxed by 43 points last year against the Duke Blue Devils. But, you know, Brad's not scared. And, you know, I guess that's why he's being paid, you know, $4 million every single year to coach college basketball. And we're sitting here just talking on a podcast about it. Like, he's trying to instill a confidence in his players that, hey, that happened. Who cares? Different team, different time. We're here. We're now. You know, it's all about you're still playing at Madison Square Garden, right? And no matter what, that's always a big deal. So it's a good thing for the Illinois brand. I agree with you in the sense I think Dan Hurley is by far and away the best coach in college basketball. And so even when he doesn't have NBA level talent, they still do really, really well. Well, next year they've got, you know, 5-star, he was an Illinois target, Braylon Mullins coming in. And, you know, they're just going to be good yet again. I think Torvik had him top 11 or top 12 in next year's rankings. It's going to be a tough matchup. But again, this is just what Brad does.
Yeah. You probably are right that Brad is more of a psychopath than Dan Hurley putting this non-conference schedule together. Like, I saw a meme on Twitter the other day. It's like I don't use the meme, but I always use the saying, like, God gives his toughest battles to his stronger soldiers. Technically a Bible verse, but it's a meme. But it's like a picture of Brad with like the red eyes, and then to the right is just God looking at him like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like that, like Brad just he's going full like, give me your toughest battles right now. We're going in. And you know, I guess this can go into our next topic, but it's scary but exciting that I feel it's scary but it's exciting that the coach feels that this team can compete with a lot of these programs. And I just don't know. I feel good about the experience on this team going into 25-26, but man, like, it's going to be a tough road. And it's not like Illinois is getting touted as a team that should win the Big Ten next year. I think they're still being touted as a team that should finish in the top 5, I believe. But I think everyone's talking about Michigan and Purdue right now.
Yeah, but, you know, it's one of those where we just talked about the schedule that Brad Underwood's put together. Let's take a look at the other psychopath. We've called 2 head coaches psychopaths just on this show.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Hurley may have put together even a harder non-conference schedule than Brad. Let me read this out to you. Okay. They play against BYU on November 15th. They play against Arizona on November 19th. You got Illinois. Then they play at Kansas on December 2nd. They play Florida, the national champion on December 9th. Then they play Texas December 12th. So again, in one way, Dan Hurley believes in his team. And so it's seeing that, it's got to feel good for Brad. Because like you said, you know, in years past, we could have chalked 1, 2, 3 of them as like, let's just show up and not embarrass ourselves. Now, granted, last year we showed up and embarrassed ourselves against Duke. Yeah. But like before the game start, right now, there's not one of those games that I'm circling and being like, yeah, that's an automatic loss. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying we're likely to win all of them, but there's no game that I'm like, oh, well, that's just an automatic L. Don't worry about it. Let's just not get hurt that game. So again, that just gives you signs that we're slowly getting better. And I wish I was as confident as Brad was.
Yeah.
But out of the two, I think the fan base would rather have Brad confident than me.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you're still watching this, head to the next video because we're going to talk about the roster because it feels like it's complete. So we'll see you there.